Let's talk crypto and coffee. Actually, look at this. I have my Fat Tuesday coffee cup with me today that I got in Vegas because I'm from New Orleans. I forgot it last week, so I had to bring it this week. So grab your own cup of coffee and let's talk crypto. Now, coffee.co, what does that mean? That's our website. So it's coffeetalk-co. That's the name of our website where you can find out more info about us, and we're going to talk about more of that today. But I want to introduce you to our guest. Hi, this is Danise. Danise we met at a crypto event, and she is what I would say, hopefully like our typical audience guest that wants to learn as much as they can about crypto.
Yes, very fascinated by it.
That's great.
Thank you for having me on.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for coming. So everybody grab your coffee or your water or whatever you want to drink, and join us each Tuesday here at 11 Eastern Standard Time on prn.fm. So our show today, we're going to talk mostly about what, how, when, and why. The history, the current events, all these things, how to get educated, how to invest, all these things about digital currencies, okay? So let's just jump right in. And as we go along, we're going to be working with Danise like she's in the audience and hopefully answering some questions for you guys out there that will make it a little bit clearer as we go. So we're going to handle a lot of detail today, a lot of information. You'll always be able to re-listen to this, so don't get freaked out. You don't have to write everything down like some people like to do, but if you like to do that, go for it. Okay, we're going to have Danise actually set up a wallet today and do all those things you have to do because one of her things she wants to do is start investing. But let's talk first about what. What is cryptocurrency? Okay?
Yeah.
What is it, Danise? Tell me what it is.
Well, cryptocurrency, from my understanding, is a way to have,
Get
currency.
closer to the mic, okay?
Currency.
Bring it to you.
All right. There we go.
Talk into it.
Have money, pretty much, that is on peer-to-peer, so it's decentralized, right?
Okay, let me give you the definition.
Okay,
let's start with that.
Give me the...
A cryptocurrency is a digital and virtual currency designed to work as a medium of exchange.
Okay.
It uses cryptography to secure and verify transactions, as well as to control the creation of new units of a particular cryptocurrency, because there are more than one cryptocurrency. Mm-hmm. Essentially, cryptocurrencies are limited entries in a database that no one can change. So pretty much cryptocurrency is a form of what some people call money, right? In the case of Bitcoin. No, you're not writing this down. No, you're going to listen to the show.
Okay.
Put that down. See, she's already trying to do it.
I am one to write everything down.
Right, but right now we're going to be one-on-one on the show.
Right.
See, I knew that. I knew that about you guys out there, too. Okay, anyway, so throughout I'll be asking you, well, just briefly tell me what you just learned. Okay, so basically, cryptocurrency is something of exchange between, like you said, peer-to-peer, but it can be a currency. It could be a lot more than that. A lot more information is going to happen through our show. So you can always go back and listen to this. It's going to be recorded, and you can go back at home, listen to it again, and write down everything you want. Okay, and you too out there. All right, so anyway, let's talk a little bit about the history. I made a lot of notes so I also could, read it because it's very confusing to a lot of people, but it's also a lot of technical information. Yeah. So there have been many attempts at creating a digital currency during the 90s, which a lot of people might not know, during the tech boom. But inevitably, they all failed. So there were many different reasons why it failed, such as fraud or financial problems, and even frictions between the companies and the employees and their bosses, the people that were working on it. But really, the truth is, all of those they utilized a third party. They didn't utilize the decentralization, right? Meaning the companies behind them verified and facilitated the transactions.
Just like a bank.
Exactly. So that's why it didn't work. Until in 2009 when an anonymous programmer, who we all know is by the name of Satoshi Nakamoto, but we don't know who that is, or a group, it could be a group, created and distributed that white paper on Bitcoin and described it as peer-to-peer electronic cash system, Bitcoin itself. So it's completely decentralized, as you said, meaning there are no servers involved and no central controlling authorities like banks. The concept closely resembles the peer-to-peer networks for file sharing, because that's when the whole blockchain comes in, which we'll get into a little bit later. In a decentralized network like Bitcoin, every single participant needs to do his job. This is done via the blockchain, a public ledger of all transactions that ever happened within the network, which is available to everyone. Therefore, everyone in the network can see every account's balance. So every transaction is a file that consists of the sender's and the recipient's public keys, which is their wallet addresses, and that's why you need a wallet in order to use, cryptocurrencies, and the amount of coins transferred. The transaction also needs to be signed off by the sender with their private key. So you never want to give anyone your private key. When you go into an exchange, they'll actually keep your private key. They'll generate you a public key, and that's really what you're using when you're sending money back and forth through your wallets. And your wallets are digital as well. All of this is just basically cryptography, because we're not going to get into today exactly what cryptography is, but, we can if we need to in the future, but if not, you guys can look that up offline. But eventually the transaction is broadcast in the network, but it needs to be confirmed first. And this is when the cryptography or the cryptocurrency network, which is miners, can confirm transactions by solving a cryptographic puzzle or algorithm. They take transactions, mark them as legitimate, and spread them across the network, i.e. the blockchain. Afterwards, every node of the network adds it to its database. And that's how the blocks get started, keep going, and more blocks are made. Afterwards, every node of the network adds it to its database. Once a transaction is confirmed, it becomes unforgeable and irreversible, and a miner receives a reward plus the transaction fees. A little bit later, we'll talk about exactly what the reward is. Essentially, all cryptocurrency networks is based on the absolute consensus of all the participants regarding the legitimacy of balances and transactions. A decentralized, trustless system with no central bank involved when it comes to Bitcoin. A lot of people are doing blockchain technologies that are based on private blockchains, but we're talking right now about decentralized, open source blockchains, which is Bitcoin. So to put Bitcoin's use case in perspective, on the 22nd of May, 2010, Laszlo Hanyecz bought 2 pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoins.
And that was the first one, right?
That was the first transaction for a product like that. And as Bitcoin's price has been as high as 20,000, at that point last December, those pizzas would have been worth $100 million each.
Whoa. It's an expensive pie.
That's right. Okay. So now, did that explain anything to you? Did you learn anything there, or did you already know all that?
I knew most of that, but you explained it so well.
I can't take credit for it.
But yes.
Good. Okay. So how? How does this digital currency, Bitcoin, magically manifest? Okay, so now we're going to talk more about mining. So the miners are the single most important part of any cryptocurrency network, meaning blockchain. As much like trading, mining is an investment, because essentially miners are providing a bookkeeping service for their respective communities. They contribute their computing power to solving complicated cryptographic puzzles or algorithms, which is necessary to confirm a transaction and record it in a distributed public ledger, again called the blockchain. And this is why, there's a lot of electricity and energy involved in this process and hash rates. So we'll get into that a little bit. One of the interesting things about mining is that the difficulty of the puzzles is constantly increasing, correlating with the number of people trying to solve it. So the more popular Bitcoin becomes, the more people try to mine it. The more difficult the process becomes because you have to keep those blocks happening every 10 minutes. So it's a real interesting dynamic of how this all works together, and works beautifully at this point too. So at first, miners could use their computers when they started mining Bitcoin. Now, and it's progressed into other ways, but now you really need huge data centers with ASICs, which is the current level of machine manufacturing technology that's being used. But other companies are working on even more sophisticated and, in some cases, energy efficient, engineering of machines that will be able to mine Bitcoins. So Bitcoins on the blockchain are awarded to the miners that win the block by finding the algorithm every 10 minutes. And then the amount of Bitcoins awarded has been halved every 4 years. So when it first started being mining, miners used to receive 50 Bitcoin. Then it went to 25 Bitcoin. And now it's at 12.5 Bitcoin. So there's only a dedicated amount of Bitcoin that will ever be mined, and that the system that Satoshi built out is exactly for that reason, so that there's only a certain amount of Bitcoin that will ever be mined, and how it will be fair with the difficulty rates and the amount of awards and all those things. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So anyway, in every show we'll go into more detail on all this, but again we'll switch over now to talking about coins, tokens, and really what you would want to know before you invest, I think, or at least some info you want to know before pre-investing. In last December, everybody just jumped on board because, when the price went up to $20,000, that's it. Everybody just wanted to invest. That's it. We're just going to do it. And, it inflated the market, and now it's going down. So people are going, and so they kind of overreact on all sides. And I've seen a lot of it because I've, for the last 6 years, it's either been going up or down or standing still for a while. And, if you're a real believer, then you just hang in there and say, this was invented for another reason besides, holding it and selling it and becoming an instant millionaire, which some people do. But, normally you have to do a little bit more than that just to make some easy, quick money. So the crypto industry has evolved over time, but to keep it simple, we'll refer to two different forms of cryptocurrency. For now, we shall call them coins and tokens, okay? So currently there are approximately 1,600
wow.
coins and tokens out there. And if you go online to coinmarketcap.com, you can see a whole list of all of these and what they're trading for now, what their market value is, what their cap is. You can click on that and find out what exchanges you can buy them on. You can click probably onto their websites and find out what their technology is and what it's based on. So there's a lot of information out there. And this is something that I would hope people would want to know or get involved in knowing, not just throwing their money out there at anything, This is, for me, the fun part. Like when the internet came out, and you couldn't find websites, but this you can find. You can actually find, and what are they doing and how are they doing it to know before you invest. So Bitcoin, like I said, in December was up to 20,000. Today it's somewhere between 7,000 and 7,500. I mean, it's just, it goes up and down depending on what market you look at too. So the market cap today is 126 billion, again according to that coin market cap, and the overall total market is 278 billion. So the rest of the coins and tokens out there is about 150. So even the whole of the rest is even exceeding what Bitcoin is by itself.
Wow. Together,
278. So what's the difference between these terms of coins and tokens? Again, just to keep it simple, and it's not the exact definition, but you can think of it as coins are on the Bitcoin blockchain, and tokens, most of which have been issued through Ethereum blockchain, are actually like sitting on a blockchain and are issued. So, okay, what is Ethereum? Ethereum is an open source public blockchain-based distributed computing platform and operating system, which makes it a little different than Bitcoin's blockchain, featuring